my decisions. I owned the fact that I was in complete denial and saw things right in front of me, but just like, I was protecting myself, I was protecting my kids. I have this family, right? I didn't want to be a failure. To me, losing my marriage was failing.
You won't believe this. After years of whispers, speculation, endless questions, Shaunie O'Neal has stepped out of the shadows. At 50, she has finally confirmed all the rumors. What happened behind closed doors? What truths have been held back? And why now, at this moment, is she choosing to speak? This is a revelation fans have waited for, and the timing is everything. From the glamour of her public life to the hidden pain behind the smiles, this story is full of heartbreak, betrayal, and fierce resilience. So lean in, because this isn't just celebrity drama. This is a raw, human journey. Shaunie's story didn't begin with scandals, it began with ambition, love, and a vision. Born into a world where expectations were heavy and criticism always lurking, she fought to define herself on her own terms.
You said you were shocked when Keon proposed to you. Had you not gotten proposed to before?
Never.
No?
No.
So what
I
happened?
never got a proposal.
Really?
No.
And so this was the first time, and it just, how'd you
Yes.
feel when he took that knee?
First of all, I thought this was his friend's birthday dinner.
Right.
The whole night.
Right.
So this was like, he started talking about love, and I'm looking at him like, why are you doing this? This is this man's birthday. Like, so, but then he came around the table, got on his knee, and I was just like, my heart melted, because again, I had never been officially proposed to.
Right.
Even early in her career, she wasn't just going to be someone's partner, she wanted to create, to build, to matter. When she married Shaquille O'Neal, the world watched. Two giants in their spheres coming together, it was the headline of power couples. But with the spotlight came scrutiny. Their marriage, though beautiful in public, carried pressures no one else could see. The glam, the luxury, the cameras, they all distracted from the cracks beneath. They had children, blended a family, navigated fame, and yet, despite what looked like a fairy tale, whispers began. Rumors of infidelity, disagreements over money, clashing personalities behind closed doors.
We gotta have Shaunie on the show. You guys were just, yeah, he was great. He was such a champion of yours. And then at some point he said, you know, something about him one day getting married again. And I thought, you're not, he's been very supportive of your dating journey. You've been supportive of his. Was there a conversation about that? And he even said, what is it, he would attend your wedding or you would attend his if that ever happened?
Yeah, I think we both support each other. Like, I used to tease him and be like, could you please hurry up and get a wife? And then you could stop, you know, randomly FaceTiming me and talking about your day. Like, I'm not, like, get a girlfriend or something. I don't know.
Eventually, they separated. Many thought that was the end of her public emotional journey. But they were wrong. In the years after, Shaunie reinvented herself. She became the force behind Basketball Wives, creating for women who too often existed only in relation to men. She shifted the narrative, no longer the celebrity wife, but a creator, a leader, someone in control. Then came relationships that made headlines: love, heartbreak, rebirth. The media was hungry, always pressing, always probing. Every new romance was dissected, every post scrutinized. The more she tried to live, the louder the rumors grew. And in the middle of it all, constantly, people asked, what's really happening behind the scenes?
That person, like, I got married in my previous relationship thinking that it was going to fix things, and that, oh, you know, he's going to change this because we got married, or he's going to act differently because we got married. That is not true. It's not realistic. And it's not my job to fix those things about the person that I'm married to.
Let's go deeper into the drama she finally confirmed. In recent years, rumors surfaced that her current or most recent partner had been unfaithful. People whispered about secret calls, late nights, unexplained silences. But Shaunie never publicly confirmed. Instead, she posted ambiguous messages, smiles and photos, tight captions. Some fans read between the lines, some denied the possibility. The gossip raged. What nobody expected was how much longer she'd carry the weight before speaking. Because now we've learned, the betrayal wasn't just one moment, it was recurring. It was a pattern of deception wrapped in illusions of love and promises. She said there were times she caught suspicious behavior, phones locked, sudden travel, cryptic messages deleted too fast to trace.
I always tell people a snippet of video is not the total story. So tell me what happened there.
Well, you know, social media is into cuts, not context.
Yeah.
And every suggestion that I got from every naysayer, I've already done. This is a 4-year battle, right?
Oh, this is ongoing.
This is ongoing. So I've already talked to her personally. I'd already had ushers go up to her. I've already had prayer warriors. I've had everything. So she did it publicly after being asked not to.
What is she? Is she crying? Is an emotional break?
Well, you know, as a pastor, I know the difference between disturbance and worship. And what people have to understand is that every time you hear a noise in church, it isn't worship.
But when she confronted it, she was met with excuses, denials, emotional pleas. It's just business, you're misinterpreting, I love you, I swear. The kind of lies we tell when we want to stay safe, maintain image, avoid ruin. And because she was in love, and because she built a brand tied to stability and respect, she tolerated more than she should have. She silenced herself out of caution, fear of public judgment, fear of losing control, fear of being seen as the woman scorned. But the breaking point came when the trust shattered entirely. She discovered things she couldn't ignore, not just flirtations or texts, but meetings, plans, patterns she couldn't rationalize away. In the sudden crack of revelation, she recognized the betrayal was no longer salvageable. One night, she gathered proof, messages she had been told didn't exist, schedules hidden, lies reconstructed. Her heart raced, disbelief settled in, anger followed. When she confronted her partner, it exploded, tears, denials, blame, apologies, but no real admission. The fight dragged into the public and private spaces of her life. What followed was emotional warfare. Her partner turned the blame, "You're insecure, you overreact, you pushed me away." Words intended to confuse, to shift responsibility. This is the manipulation that reverberates. But Shaunie refused to fold. She collected evidence, reached out to trusted friends, layered her mistakes and his betrayal into a tapestry that couldn't be ignored. There were consequences beyond heartbreak. Her brand faced speculation. Reality TV fans debated her version, sightings of her and that person together popped up, cryptic social media posts suggested she was fighting for image, not truth. Meanwhile, beneath the glitz, she wrestled with shame, doubt, the desire to maintain dignity. But here's the twist, as she pulled back the curtain publicly, she realized the power in owning her voice. She didn't allow herself to be silenced any longer by gossip or by his narrative. The revelation she made confirming the rumors is not revenge. It's reclamation. In interviews, she didn't just say yes, it happened. She unpacked it. This betrayal was not a single blow but countless small betrayals over time, eroding trust, chipping away at self. She spoke of promises broken, private tears unseen, the suffocating pressure of keeping up appearances while bleeding inside. What's more striking is how she framed it, not as a victim, but as someone who chose transparency over illusions. She said, "I deserve the truth. Even if telling it makes me vulnerable." That line alone sent shockwaves across media and social feeds. And when she confirmed those rumors, people gasped, not just because of what was confirmed, but because it took courage to do it. At 50, after decades of criticism and scrutiny, she spoke like a person who demands to be heard, no longer silenced by shame or reputation. Now imagine the weight of carrying that secret. The loneliness of nights filled with confusion, replaying conversations, second-guessing everything. The fear that exposing it would mean losing everything: relationships, reputation, peace. After the confirmation, the impact rippled. Family members were stunned. Friends close to her said they'd suspected but didn't have the full picture. Some relationships grew distant, supporters didn't know where to stand, and critics pounced. Her emotional life, already fragile, was exposed to public judgment. Comments flooded in: sympathy, blame, curiosity, scorn. For her children, it was complicated. The daughter or sons might feel betrayed on her behalf, protective, worried that their mother's image would be tarnished. She had to comfort them while grappling with her own heartbreak. To shield her children from pain, she had to appear strong even when every part of her felt fractured. Professionally, the confirmation was both risk and release. The media could spin it 1,000 ways. The critics saw it as desperation or attention-seeking. Some tried to frame her narrative as unstable. But the supporters, the ones who watched her weather storms, saw it as a turning point. A woman refusing to hide. A woman owning her story. Deep inside, she cried. Nights of tears, sleepless thoughts, asking, was I enough? Could I have seen it earlier? Why did I doubt myself so often? But alongside those tears, there was a small flame, something fierce that refused to die. The flame of dignity, the flame of refusing to let shadows define her. She's spoken about reclaiming power. About setting boundaries, about refusing half-truths. About no longer letting someone else's lies rewrite her reality. This emotional impact is not just for herself but for every person who's been told to stay quiet, to endure betrayal in silence, to be graceful in pain. This moment is seismic, a public figure acknowledging her pain, forcing the narrative to shift from "did she?" to "here is what she endured." It changes how people see her, not as a gossip headline, but as a human being. Now, as she stands here at 50, confirmed, vulnerable, yet defiant, the story shifts again. This is not the end of Shaunie's journey, it's another chapter. Because revealing pain doesn't mean she's broken, it means she's brave. She has now given fans, critics, and observers something more than gossip. She's given truth. She's offered realness in a world that thrives on illusions. In the days after, interviews flowed, statements posted, conversations sparked about betrayal, self-worth, resilience. People began to see her not as someone who fell victim, but someone who rose up. And here's what I want you to carry away: betrayal can wound deeply. But silence can wound more. And truth, spoken with courage even when your voice trembles, holds power. Shaunie's confirmation is more than a revelation about a romance gone wrong. It's a statement: she won't center someone else's lie. She will define her own reality. What happens next? Will she lean into this truth, build new ventures rooted in authenticity? Will she invite others to speak their truths? Or will the pressure of public scrutiny try to silence her again? Time will tell. But for now, she has reclaimed her narrative. To every one of you listening, if you've ever been doubted, betrayed, or asked to stay quiet, this is a moment to remember: your voice matters. Your pain deserves acknowledgement. And sometimes the most powerful thing you do is speak. Now tell me, what do you believe lies ahead for Shaunie O'Neal? Will this moment become her rebirth or a battle she's only beginning? Drop your thoughts below, and if this story moved you, share it, like it, subscribe, because stories like these deserve to be heard. As the dust begins to settle, Shaunie O'Neal's world looks very different than it did just a few months ago. The woman who once lived behind carefully curated posts and perfectly polished interviews is now showing us her raw, unfiltered truth. And honestly, it's powerful to see. After confirming everything, the rumors, the heartbreak, the betrayal, Shaunie is stepping into a season of self-awareness, healing, and renewal. She's no longer trying to prove anything to anyone. She's not explaining her choices, nor is she looking for sympathy. She's simply reclaiming her peace. People forget that behind the fame, behind the money and the lights, there's a woman who has had to start over again and again. And that's what makes this chapter so moving. Shaunie is choosing herself this time. She's embracing her flaws, her lessons, and even her heartbreaks, because they all shaped her strength. She's showing that even when love breaks you, it can also rebuild you. That's the quiet power in her story. She's not bitter, she's wiser. She's not broken, she's evolving. Fans who once saw her as just another reality star are now seeing her as something deeper, a woman who's not afraid to walk away when peace costs too much. Every decision she's making now feels intentional. Whether it's stepping back from the spotlight or diving into new creative projects, it's all about alignment and purpose. She's spoken about wanting to mentor young women, especially those who've gone through betrayal or emotional abuse. Her message is simple but strong: you can lose everything and still rise again. At 50, she's not chasing validation. She's chasing authenticity. That's the kind of energy that transforms pain into purpose. The confirmation of all those rumors might have shocked the world, but for Shaunie, it was liberation. It was about no longer living under someone else's shadow or narrative. She's learned that silence may protect your image, but truth protects your soul. And maybe that's what her journey is really about: freedom. The freedom to tell her own story. The freedom to love again without fear. The freedom to walk away from what doesn't serve her. Shaunie's story is proof that you can be broken, exposed, and still emerge stronger than ever. She's walking into the next chapter of her life with her head held high, her heart open, and her truth untamed. So as this chapter closes, one thing is clear: Shaunie O'Neal isn't defined by the rumors she confirmed. She's defined by the courage it took to face them. And that's what makes her story unforgettable. Because in the end, it's not about who hurt her. It's about how she healed. It's about how she chose herself, even when it meant standing alone. And that's something every woman watching can take with her. This is more than celebrity drama, it's a story of growth, freedom, and the power of truth.